So hello everyone, welcome to my channel Rahul's Notebook, and I'm Rahul, and today we are going to discuss about the topic salient features of the Indian Constitution. So let's get started. So salient features of the Indian Constitution, we will start with the features. Number one feature is lengthiest written constitution. Okay, constitution are of two types, written constitution and unwritten constitution. Example of written constitution is American Constitution, and unwritten constitution example is British Constitution. Okay, now India is a India has a written constitution, and Indian Constitution is the lengthiest constitution in the world. Okay, so it's pretty exciting, and it has 315 articles and 13 schedules. So this was about this feature, and second feature is drawn from various sources. So what do you mean by that? So this means that we all know that Indian Constitution is a borrowed constitution, and different provisions, principles are being borrowed and put it in the Indian Constitution. So it is a borrowed constitution, and once B.R. Ambedkar also claimed that Indian Constitution is a successful constitution because after searching of some good provisions and some good principles and all, we have made this constitution, and it is the final product, and this will be successful in future as well as now also. So this was all about this feature, and next feature is blend of rigidity and flexibility. So what do you mean by, I am going to explain you about rigidity and flexibility. Okay, so we will take the example of USA. In USA, in American Constitution has very complex procedure to get amended. So amending American Constitution is very hard and very rigid, and whereas amendment of constitution like Britain's Constitution is very easy and goes through simple process. So it is very easy. So we have understood rigidity and flexibility. Now blend of rigidity and flexibility means India follows and India applies blend of rigidity and flexibility. We will I will show you the example like federal structure. Now changing the federal structure of our India, so it is very hard and very rigid. So the special majority is needed for this purpose, and we can say flexibility in the way changing state boundaries. It needs simple majority, and by simple majority in the parliament, state boundaries can be changed. So this is the example. Next feature is federal system with unitary bias. So federal system, what do you mean by federal system? A federal structure which a country has, like America has. America is a federation, and where all of the a group of states come together and form another state. So in federal system, there is division of powers, of course we can see that, and and unitary bias, you may say that unitary bias means what? It means we will take the example of India. Emergency powers, emergency provision, and emergency powers are always in the hands of the center. So center can take decision on the emergency provisions. Okay, so this is the unitary bias. Now I will give you the example of India in this context. Federal, I will give you the example of India in federal features. India have federal features and non-federal features. So some of the federal features is division of powers, of course, between the center and the state. And non-federal feature, you can see that the center is very strong, and single citizenship, whereas American people has dual citizenship. This is the non-federal feature. Okay, so these are some of the examples that I have discussed about. And second feature, I mean to say next feature is synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So what do we mean by parliamentary sovereignty? Parliamentary sovereignty means if parliament takes any decisions and if it passes any law, it will be the supreme law and cannot be changed. Means parliament is kept in the higher position, and it is the supreme part. Okay. And example of parliamentary sovereignty is Britain, and we will talk about judicial supremacy, where judiciary, the supreme court, is the higher level of institution, and any law made by supreme court or passed by it is the supreme law, and everyone has to maintain that. So this is the judicial supremacy term is all about. And so why have we used the term synthesis? Synthesis means that in India we have parliamentary sovereignty as well as judicial supremacy. Our parliament is very strong. Any law passed by parliament or any bill is also important, means equally important as the decisions made by the Supreme Court, or any bill or any decisions or opinions or any suggestions given by the Supreme Court. So both are equally powered, so both are kept to be supreme. So this is the feature. And next feature is parliamentary form of government. So I will tell there are two forms of government. One is parliamentary form of government, another is presidential form of government. So in parliamentary form of government, executive and legislature depend on each other. We can see in India that executive has some role to play in legislature, and legislature has some role to play in executive. So both are interdependent, and so we have parliamentary form of government. And presidential form of government, best example is American, means USA, and they have presidential form of government, and where executive has no role to play in the legislature, and legislature has no connection, or you can say no special role to play with executive. They are totally dependent, they are totally independent, and they are not dependent on each other. So this is the example. Okay. So now move on to the next feature. Next feature is integrated and independent judiciary. So independent judiciary means the judiciary that takes its own decisions, and without any interference of any kind of, means you can say executive or legislature. In India you can see that executive has no role on judiciary, no control over judiciary. Rather, some provisions are provided for the chief judge of the Supreme Court on the Constitution. So the judges have some sort of provisions for themselves, and executive has no role to play in here, and legislature as well, the same case. And if I talk about the integrated word, integrated means, as you can see, I will show you the diagram. This is Supreme Court, this is High Court, and this is subordinate court. So if you have any issue or any case, you can appeal on your state high court, or if your case means you can appeal to the Supreme Court as well. So it is integrated. You can see both three are interconnected. So this is the example. And move on to the next feature. Next feature is fundamental rights. So fundamental rights, we citizens of India are given fundamental rights. We are so lucky that we got these fundamental rights, and some of the fundamental rights I will like to discuss. Number 1, right to equality. Number 2, right to freedom. Number 3, right against exploitation. Number 4 is cultural and educational rights. Number 5, right to freedom of religion. And number 6 is right to constitutional remedies. Okay, so these are some fundamental rights. We will further discuss about this. Right to equality. where everyone is equal before law, and any no one is means no one will be ill treated, or means everyone is equal, poor or rich, everyone is equal before law. So this is the first right that you get. And second is right to freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of speech. You can express your opinions freely before the government, and you can express through your thoughts through speech. So these are some rights. And these are some rights that I talked about. Right to freedom, so right to freedom of expression, right to freedom of speech. And number three is right against exploitation, right against exploitation. Here you have the example of human trafficking. As we all know, we are all aware of this human trafficking and forced labor. So right against exploitation is the rights given to these victims, those who have gone through this type of conditions. Okay, so we have that rights also. And more rights are there. Constitutional right to constitutional remedies. If you feel that your fundamental right has been violated, you can go and you can case on that, you can file a case on that, and you can go directly to the Supreme Court and you can appeal for your justice. Okay, so another right is cultural and educational rights. In India, different cultures, diversified institutions, social institutions are there, different cultural educational institutions are there. And this right provides that, and any culture besides their race, their caste or any creed or this type of things, they can form their cultural institution as well as their educational institution. They have the right, it has been set up in the constitution. Okay, it has been written. So nextly we will talk about the directive principles of the state policy. Okay, next feature is this. So directive principles of the state policy, here state means the nation. Okay, so nation means a nation. Sometimes when nation makes any policy or any formation of new policy, there are some directive principles that they have to follow. And these directive principles are taken from the Irish constitution. Okay, so some of the directive principles I will discuss. That is socialist state. A state should be socialist state. That means no poor should be there, no rich should be there, everybody should be equal. Okay, and another example I will give, wealth for the poor. There should be wealth for the poor. Okay, so in the case of India, this cannot happen right now because India doesn't have that resources that it can act upon the principles of the directive principles of the state policy. Okay, this is all about this feature. Next, move to the other feature, that is fundamental duties. So under the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, by the recommendation of Swaran Singh Committee, fundamental duties is being introduced in our constitution. Fundamental duties says that we have some duties to perform before government, and we should show some respect to our some duties are, I will discuss about some duties. Some duties are we should respect our national flag, we should respect our constitution, we should respect our three important aspects and important parts of our country, that is executive, legislature and judiciary. We should give importance to them and we should act accordingly. So this is about this feature. And next is a secular state. So this is also put it on and added on by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, secular. Okay, so a secular state is a state which has no official religion of its own. Okay, unlike Pakistan is an Islamic state. It has declared itself a Islamic state. So India, whereas India is has not declared as an it has no specific religion of its own. Okay, anybody and everybody can process, propagate and practice any religion. So this is about this feature. And next feature is universal adult franchise. Franchise means right to vote. Okay, so according to 61st Amendment Act of 1988, this was at that moment it was 21 years of if you cross 21 years of age, you can have the right to vote. But now according to 61st Amendment Act of 1988, it has been reduced to 18 years. Now if you are above 18 years, you have the right and you can enjoy your voting powers. Okay, so this is about all this one feature. And next is single citizenship. Okay, single citizenship. We Indian people have only one citizenship, that is our national citizenship. Unlike USA, American people has dual citizenship. One is state citizenship and another is their nation citizenship. Okay, unlike them, we have only one citizenship. And India has maintained this for unity and integrity, so that everyone can live together and have a brotherhood and this kind of sort of thing. Okay, so we move on to next feature. Next feature is independent bodies. So independent bodies, we will discuss about the election commission. So election commission handles everything related to election, and they conduct free and fair election all over the India. It is anything related to this election, and election commission plays a very crucial role on it. Okay, next example I will give, comptroller. Comptroller is also a department which observes the accounting, which takes the accounts of the central and the state government and puts an eye on the expenditure they have spent. Okay, this is one of the example. And another example is UPSC. All India services, they provide all India services to the public and all over the India. So this is another example. So next feature is emergency provisions. So there are three under article 352, 356 and 360. There are three provisions. Article number 352 describes about the emergency occurred in the condition of armed rebellion or warlike situation. So this is one. And another emergency power is being used when the state is in emergency, when the state's constitutional machinery fails and it cannot run without any stable work. Okay, that's why it is also been said presidential rule, because president rules that state when this emergency has been imposed. Okay, under article 356. And article 360 discuss about the financial instability of a country. When when a country is not in its final financial is not stable in financial terms, at that moment emergency has been imposed, and this is under the this is described under the article 360. Okay, and these all emergency provisions and this all emergency powers are vested in the hands of the center. State has no role to play in here. Okay, so next but not least, last but not least feature is third tier government. So third tier government, we can go through the diagram. So this is the central government, this is state government, and this is panchayats and municipalities. Through the 73rd Act of 1922, panchayats is being formed, and 74th Amendment Act of 1922, municipalities are being formed. Panchayats are being formed in their root level, so that they can solve the root level causes, root level issues, they can handle that, and so that the state doesn't have all control over all things. Okay, so the state powers reduces here. And municipalities for the urban areas. Urban areas have municipalities, as we all know, we are very much aware of it. So this is the features I have discussed today. Thank you for watching my video, and make sure you subscribe my channel if you are not a subscriber. And I have made one more video, Preamble of the Constitution. It is in the bell icon, and if you don't find it, go to the description. I have given the link there. And this is for today. Meet you in the next video.